Street children are one of the most neglected and vulnerable members of our society. They are often in harm's way and are forced to survive through any means necessary. But one organization is trying to shape this narrative, one child at a time.
Our children are from the street, so we rescue them from the street. As you have realized, the street families have become a menace even to the government itself. There are so many and they're increasing every day. Maybe because of the challenges people are having, so they end up on the street. So we rescue them from the street after, let me say, where the children we have, we can categorize them as the third generation of the street families. That is whereby even the grandmother is on the street, the mother is on the street. Mostly maybe the grandmother cannot trace where they came from if you know them. So we have orphans, orphaned in the street, and maybe there are others who are maybe rejected, maybe abandoned on the street. So those are the children we have here.
Unlike other rescue homes set up near the society they serve, Gracious Street Hope Givers rescues street children in Nairobi and provides a change in scenery away from the previous life.
The reason we are here in this, if I may say, remote or rural areas is because we wanted to change the environment for this child to change, because they usually go through a lot. Maybe sexual abuse, drug abuse, physical abuse. So the best thing to change, we call it rehabilitation, to rehabilitate them is to get them away as much as far away from the town setup. So that's why we ended up here, because the environment is very good for them to change and to forget whatever they've gone through.
The journey to starting the rescue home was inspired by the shortcomings they felt when providing food to street children in Nairobi.
So why we are dealing with kids, it's when we started the feeding program, so they come, all of them, the street families, they stay in bases. So like now, because our children are from Nairobi, some are from town center. There's a base in town center, there is one in Mathare, there is a place called Mulango Kubwa. So that's where we used to do our feeding program. And when we started with other volunteering with other organizations, and then after a lot of observation, we found that there were so many children who are being born on the street, and most of them maybe they would die, like now with the weather. If they are rained on and everything else, they die. So we focused so much on the children, because one thing, these children didn't choose to be born on the street. That is one thing. They found themselves born there and facing the challenges of life there. So we found ourselves focusing on the children, and we started rescuing children and taking them to other children's homes.
After working with various children's homes, Grace realized that some homes discriminated children rescued from the streets.
I'm sorry to say this, it's sometimes a street child is seen as like the way people call them chokora. So you find even the people who work there, the caregivers and the social workers, they are discriminating them from the rest of the orphans. So they would call them that chokora, and this child will feel discriminated and they will go back to the street. Those are the challenges we started, and we prayed for a place where we can take these kids, whether orphaned, abandoned. Maybe sometimes a mother is very young, at 12 you get a child, you don't know even how to take care of the child, and you're on the street. That's where we come in and rescue those children.
Starting Gracious Street Hope Givers was not easy. Grace and her husband faced challenges from the community.
When we came here, the reception was not good. It is 5 years and a half. But there was like, because these are orphans, but they are from the street, they were treated differently. So they are chokoras. So the community felt like we don't fit in. If we are doing this, go do it somewhere else. So even today, after 5 years, we've never been accepted holy, that people can come from anywhere and help us. It's very rare. But now for us, because we were focused and we had to make a difference, we had to be strong for these kids.
Grace also cites that surrounding schools discriminated the street children and refused to provide admission to the children.
We were not accepted in the public school. And the irony is, in this area, because of the tea farms, there are so many Ugandans, and their children are accepted in public school. That was the irony. I went once and I challenged the head teacher. They told them, this is a Kenyan child. It's the only thing, it's because the child has come from the street. So an Ugandan child has more priority to our education system than this child. But I thank God, after that we got a school which accepted them, they don't discriminate them, a Catholic school.
Working with street children is not for the faint-hearted. They go through a lot of psychological and physical abuse, which makes the task of caring for them much harder.
Initially, when you rescue a child, you rehabilitate them, because this child didn't come from a family setup. He or she has come from the street. I'll tell you, a 2-year-old child from the street knows so much than even an adult, because the condition, the environment on the street is very tough for them. So they know how to adapt to the street. So they know how to maybe defend themselves, steal if they're hungry and all that. So the first thing we do, and drug abuse. So the first thing we do is we rehabilitate them.
For Grace and her husband, the children under their care are equal to theirs.
So the first thing we give them is for them to feel secure, and a motherly love and a fatherly love. And here we stay as a family. We tell people we don't even want to categorize it as a children's home, or it's a home. It's humble, but it's safe. There's peace and there's joy. So you have to assure this child that here you are safe. Whatever used to happen on the street will not happen to you here.
This is my family. Be it my wife, this is to my family, because you cannot keep this family, as we call it, a family, a street family. It's still my family. So the way I look up on my wife and my kids too, this is still my family and my kids. So everything actually happens here. Everything happens here. So there is no differentiating between my personal wife or my personal life and this one. This is my personal life too, because you cannot do this if it's not inside you. First, it's a calling. If it's a calling, then you have to embrace them and make them your family. That's why they call us dad and a mom.
Aside from providing the physical needs, the Gracious Street Hope Givers also ensure the children grow up spiritually.
We do a lot of spiritual nourishment during the healing process, because when you are given a child who has gone through abuse, you have to be there for them, one, and let them know that God loves them.
The rescue home mostly relies on donations from religious organizations with support from well-wishers.
Because we don't have any donors from outside. Most of the people who help us or bring food are our friends, maybe churches, but not the churches which are around, the churches which know us back in Nairobi. So it's families, friends who. So when it's come to your friend, they will bring food. But for finances, many people think, somebody was telling me when they came on December, many people think when you go to a children's home, all they need is food and clothes. But kids get sick, so you have to have finances to be able to cater for all maybe the things that are needed, maybe mostly health care. Because now you have come with kids who need health care, because the lives they were living on the streets were not that hygienically. So you have to take them maybe to hospital and all those things.
Despite the support, the rescue home is trying to become more independent.
With the challenges we had faced, we had to think outside the box. And having survived for 5 years without major donors, we have to think outside the box, as in how can we be self-reliant, as you've said. So one is by producing our own food. For now we have a small farm which we try to plant as much as we can, but our idea is to get a big farm so that we can have our food. We can be the one who be planting our own food and getting from our own farm, so we don't have to depend on people or buying maybe the vegetables. So that is one of the things that we are trying to do. This area is very productive. Even with a small land, we can see how much we produce, but we are trying to get a bigger one so that we can have every season we have something we are harvesting or we are planting.
The Gracious Street Hope Givers is a perfect example of how we can do more to create impact in our society.